strong.
What up, nerds? Roster the people, week 7. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I mean, it's one of the one of the toughest fantasy weeks I can remember in a while. All the injuries and bye weeks, so it's tough out in the streets, as they say. But we're here talking fantasy football. Can't be that bad.
Life could always be worse.
That's
Could
true.
always be worse. Mike is covering for the nerd tonight. The nerd wanted me to deliver a message. He wanted me to tell everyone that he doesn't love you, and that you bother him with all your questions, and that he can't be bothered to come and deal with his fans. And yeah, no, the nerd has got another assignment tonight. We gave him the night off. It's no big deal. Normal service will resume from the nerd on Sunday. He'll be on for the final countdown. So for all the people that'll ask, "Where's Jason?" He needed the night off. He's dealing with some low-key thing in the background. It's just a one-night deal. Normal service will resume on Sunday. In fact, he's already still answering questions in the chat. So he's around. He's fine. It's just he needed to handle something local to himself tonight, so we gave him the night off. And Mike was nice enough to cover. Mike, as we all know from the Monday show, from 32 teams in 32 days, Mike is not a stranger. So we will be keeping you company here tonight, answering all of your questions. And then, for those who are members of the Discord, and if you're not, put the same standard thing. Just put your questions either here, start sit chat. We'll make sure we get them answered. And then, we're still doing the final countdown on Sunday, so pop in for that. Standard rules for that apply. If you can make me laugh, I put you to the front of the line. Also, if you can make Jason blush, put it to the front of the line. That's how I do this. That's how I run the queue. Is it fair? No. Does it make me laugh? Yes.
And don't worry, I still have his starts and sits of the week. If
we have those knocking around here somewhere. So. What's up, Jose? Jose's up to 3 aliases now. I love it. He's got 3 aliases. It's fantastic. What up, Brian? All right. Picked up Deontay, start or sit. I probably help if I knew what your other options are, but in a vacuum, I lean towards sitting because haven't seen him get on the football field in a while. Don't really have a great feeling for how healthy he actually is. Is he going to be on a snap count? They got a lot of injuries they're dealing with. Pat Freiermuth is kind of the same thing. I've been getting questions about that in the background. Do you play Freiermuth? My advice is kind of the same. Kind of rather give them a week to get back on the field, see what's going on, and kind of pick it up from there in the background. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Again, if you can give us, who you're trying to decide between, we'll definitely, help you out there. I know it's like we said, it's a tough week. So, but yeah, generally I like to wait on these guys unless they're, studs, no-brainer starts.
Yeah. And then here's another. What up, Polo? So Polo wants to know Jordan Love or Trevor, and this is a time-sensitive decision. This is 10 minutes. We got to make a call.
I think I'm leaning Love. I'm worried about the knee injury. Saints are a tough matchup. Love gets the Broncos and hopefully all his weapons back. So I'm leaning Love.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat. I'm sitting Trevor across every league where I have him tonight. I know he's going to play tonight. We were actually going to talk about that very briefly, but we'll just do it here. He did clear the protocols that he needs to clear, not the concussion protocol, obviously, but he was out there for warm-ups. He was running around. Don't like a lot of things about this. Don't like how he's been playing in general. Don't like that he's now hampered with a knee injury. Don't like that it's on Thursday night. Don't like that it's against the Saints defense. Don't like any of it. Whereas Jordan Love, I normally really wouldn't want to play, but he has the best matchup you can have.
Yep.
There is no better matchup than the Broncos, so I would go ahead and just ride out Love, and you're just hoping that they can manage to be respectable. And it kind of leans me into this whole thing with the Packers. If they can't get it going against the Broncos, we're going to start downgrading all Packers across the board, possibly cutting Packers. Like, this is it. This is the last chance for the Packers. You either figure it out this week or I'm done with you. And we're moving on.
And that being said, Love's had 3 games above 20, 1 at 19.6. Lawrence hasn't even had a game at 19 or more. So Yeah, it's been tough for Lawrence. I'm taking Love again. Aaron Jones coming back, a healthy Watson, Romeo
Theoretically,
Doubs. Yeah, hopefully coming back. We haven't seen all those guys on the field together, so it'd be nice to see that.
we have not. And then real quick, because I'm doing these, and I'm sorry because I know I'm not going in order for people that are posting and looking at the comments. I will get back to you, but as we know, Thursday night questions go first. So
Yes.
anyone starting the Saints defense, again, it would help me to know, Brian, like who your other options are here. But in a vacuum, I have no real issue with it. You're dealing with gimpy Trevor on a Thursday night game that typically favors defenses.
Yep.
So you'd have to tell me what your other choices are with that. But as a general thing, I really don't have a problem with it.
Yep. I like Saints defense, and I'd rather just start them than hold two defenses. So if you're trying to do that, just start the Saints defense. You should get at least 5-6 points at the worst. I think it can always be worse, but I think they'll get some sacks Thursday night game like the Saints.
The Saints are a top 12 defense. I mean, they're like right around 8.
Yep.
So it's something like that. I mean, I would rather the Seahawks. I would potentially rather the Commanders. I mean, there's certain ones. I mean, obviously, if the Browns was still available, I'd prefer that. But you've picked a defense within the top 12, so I feel like it's going to be hard to do worse against that.
Yeah.
And we'll start. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and Jags give up, I think, about 8 points on average to defenses so far this year.
Okay, they do. Yeah. There's a few decent street. Weirdly, it's a brutal week this week, Mike, as you already said. Let's go into that real quick just to set the table for everybody, because I'm going to start answering other questions here for Sunday. That was the last pure Thursday night question we
I
had.
think we have a Derek Carr question.
Where did Derek Carr?
Dr.
Oh, it did.
Dr.
Oh,
Squatch,
Dr.
yeah.
Squatch. What up, Dr. Squatch? Tried to sneak one in on me here at the very last second. I see what you're doing. I would probably roll with Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate all of your choices. I hate your choices, and I'd probably go Wilson.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Don't like Derek Carr on a short week. Yeah, really want to avoid. I'm just checking my rankings while I talk. Always good for the radio. Yeah, no, go with Wilson. I've even got it ranked that way. Yeah, don't screw around with Carr on Thursday Night Football. That's and we have one more that just wandered in here real quick because we got like 2 minutes to do this. Oh, Stafford. Easy.
Yes.
Easy.
Yeah, that's definitely Stafford for me. He would have had a bigger game last week if I think he had like 2 drop touchdowns, one by Puka, and there was another one I think. So definitely Stafford.
Yeah, don't care that there's no Kyron Williams. If anything, that just helps. So yeah, that's simple. Get Lawrence out of your lineup. No one's playing Lawrence tonight. You'd be shocked how many people I'd play ahead of Lawrence.
Yeah.
But you talked about it, Mike. So we'll go all the way through it. You've got a brutal week this week. You've got 6 teams on bye, which is disgusting. And well, so yeah, you've got a horrible. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk, which is always great. You've got a horrible week. You've got a lot of people hurt, and you've got a Mike. While I talk, you monitor and make sure nobody's posted a Thursday night question. I need to stop talking and break in with. Thank you. We were up to Marcus. The Thursday night this week is a mess. All this week is a mess. You've got 6 teams on bye. You've got a bunch of people hurt that you would normally play. It's like a perfect storm. So this is one of the ugliest weeks that I can remember. You're just going to have to just get nasty with it and just play some stuff you otherwise wouldn't do. And we're going to have this conversation again, by the way, in week 13. Because for some reason, the NFL, in their infinite wisdom, decided that rather than have buys in week 8, and I want to say it's week 10, there's 2 weeks. They did no buys, but they did 2 weeks where you would have 6 teams on bye. Gross. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And this is one of those weeks. And on top of that, you have just this pile of injuries that we have to sift through where everybody's hurt. And it's just this nasty, nasty mess that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't remember them doing this before with no bye week. Like, I thought just there was a bye, someone on a bye every week from 4 to 13 or
you'd either have 2 teams on bye or 4 teams on bye, and then they would just do that. But for some reason, they did 2 weeks where I have a feeling that it has to do with the extra Europe games because they're doing Germany now and London. And it's like, guys, why don't you just move teams over there? Okay, like let's just do that then. If you're that committed to this horrible, horrible, horrible mess. But yeah, this week's gonna be rough. You're gonna have to make some tough choices. You're gonna have people on bye. You're gonna have people hurt, and the waiver wire is gross. It's gross. It's a nasty place.
Yeah, the top guys this week, you're not even sure if they're going to be like starters. Like, it's tough.
It's real bad. But we'll get back into answering proper questions now because I didn't see anything else that was pertaining to Thursday night. Yeah, half point: Javonte, Ford, Cook, Evans, Cooper.
So we got to start.
Looks
like
you're starting two.
Javonte, Ford, Cook, Mike Evans. I'm probably going to go Evans. Definitely not Javonte.
No, I'm scratching Javonte immediately.
Amari Cooper. If especially if Watson's there, I'm going to go Amari Cooper and Mike Evans. Even if Watson's not there, I'd probably still lean Cooper. I think he's, obviously the main guy, and PJ Walker, he got him the ball last week. I know it was one big catch that kind of made his fantasy week, but he's capable of that. I'm a little worried about James Cook and just, he can't pass block whatsoever.
No, we talked about that on Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's Cook is in a bad spot. It's not that he suddenly forgot how to play football. The problem is he's lost half his job. And that's now a thing. Like James Cook is now, if I could trade James Cook, I would. I would get him off my team.
We got a couple Thursday. We got
They wander in. Okay, with 2 minutes on the clock.
Saints defense, yes.
Already covered it, Brian. Already covered it.
Yep.
It's already on there, man. We already said it's got a top 12 defense. Go nuts. There are options we like better, but and then I believe it was this the one you were referring to?
Yeah, I'd still go Christian Kirk. You can't start those guys over.
Yeah, your other options are too low. It's Kirk.
Bad matchup, but go Kirk. Yeah,
it's Kirk. And yeah, Brian, we did this twice now. The Saints is fine. If you can get one of a handful of better ones we already mentioned, go ahead. But Saints is like the only thing that I would be okay with on Thursday night.
Yep.
Everything else is really, really gross. Back to Skylar, who wanted to know about this. For half point, I would go Ford and Cooper. And if you were afraid of either one of those two things, my next choice is Mike Evans.
Yeah, I like Ford this week too. So it's definitely between those three. Like his matchup, but sometimes I just go with the better player type of strategy, and it's Evans and Cooper there for me.
If you were for me, I'll play both Browns, and if you were scared of one of them for whatever reason, put in Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm scratching Javonte off, and in a half point, Cook also goes bye-bye. I would be trying to trade James Cook before the deadline. He has officially lost half his job. They are now going with 33-year-old Latavius Murray on passing downs and whenever they go hurry up for pass pro. So now Cook is a standard running back who only plays on first and second downs. He doesn't get the red zone work because he can't pass block to keep his own job. So James Cook is no longer a thing. That is done. You need to move on. It's really, 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 really irritating. And it's going to impact my rating of not just Cook for the rest of this year, but also in future seasons. Because if you can't pass pro well enough to beat out 33-year-old Latavius Murray, I have no use for you.
Yeah.
You are playing for me.
And Josh Allen, in that Giants game especially, the blitz is really affecting him, and part of the reason why they played poorly. So,
he's hurt again now.
Yep.
He's already hurt again. So, and they've got to do whatever they can to not have Allen get hurt, because the minute Allen gets hurt, they're not even a playoff team anymore, and they know it. Like, their defense isn't as good as it used to be either.
Definitely.
Okay. So James Cook, Gibbs, or Roschon PPR?
Yeah, we were talking about this in Discord, but so Roschon hasn't been practicing yet, and I think he's still in concussion protocol. But
yeah, he hasn't been cleared yet.
Even if he's cleared, I think I'm still going James Cook and Gibbs. We don't know 100% what Roschon's role is. It could be really nice. It could just be what it was when Khalil Herbert was healthy, and so I'll still lean Gibbs and James Cook there if they're healthy.
They're both healthy, so that's who I'm playing. Gibbs is a lot closer to playing than Roschon is.
Yep.
They were talking about putting Roshan on the IR, so I'd be surprised if he actually suits up this week. So it's James Cook, and you hold your nose and you ignore all the negative things I just said because you don't
Yeah.
really have a better choice. And then Gibbs, as much as I don't want to play Gibbs, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because also you're dealing with Craig Reynolds is also hurt, but he's probably going to play, but at like 50%, it's not something I want to deal with. So Gibbs is actually I feel better about. And then Laporta or Goddard.
Oh yes, this one. Man, that one's tough. Because Goddard plays the Dolphins, and that's a really nice matchup for tight ends. But Laporta's usage has just been so much better.
I'm playing Laporta. It's not even
Yeah.
long. It's a short thing. Like I'm just going to play Laporta because I can't count on what Goddard's actual route percentage is. And the Eagles, I know Devonta Smith is questionable, but you're asking me this question on Thursday night before I have all the information. So my answer on Thursday night is Laporta. Ask again on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I mean, does it bother you that he's still limited and he did have his worst game of the year coming off the calf injury? You know, like
Okay, versus Goddard, who might literally put up a 2 when he's fully healthy.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
it's
what
tight
if
end
that game?
question, and none of those tight ends is Travis Kelce. So what you can
Yeah,
do is you can flip a coin, and that's about the accuracy level you're dealing with tight ends not named Travis Kelce. George Kittle scores 3 touchdowns, then puts up a 1.
yeah.
Different thing, but you're asking me to pull a needle out of a haystack here with these tight end questions. So I go
How about
with
this? Ravens are the best team against tight ends this year, giving up 4.4 points. I'm not 100% sure if that's PPR or not, but anyways,
I know what
they're
you mean. I'm familiar with
yeah,
the stat.
yeah. So that I think I'll lean Goddard there actually. So it could
All
be a
right.
shootout game. So, but I'm kind of more in agreement with you. It is kind of a coin flip, to be honest. Like
I
either
have them
one can
2
outproduce
spots
the
apart in
other.
my rankings.
Yeah.
That should tell you how confident I am
Yep.
in that in the background. We're back to Jose. Jose, he means Deontay Johnson. We're back to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I start Murray over him in my flex? I'm assuming you mean Latavius Murray?
Latavius, yeah.
And no,
Nah, can't
Latavius
do that.
Latavius Murray has no actual value. All he
Yeah.
does is siphon value off James Cook. So he lowers them both, but he himself is not a fantasy thing. So all it does is put up a giant middle finger to everyone who rosters James Cook, and it's deeply annoying.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It is PPR, I assume, some kind of half point. If it's standard, I'd go Murray because he could get a touchdown. So I guess that's my only format. I'm starting Murray over Deontay is standard.
Yeah. Half point. Watson and Waller in. Johnson could put up. I'm assuming he means Curtis Samuel.
Yeah,
So
hopefully not Debo.
no, well that would be on the waivers. So that's what I'm saying. So here's your so the choices are you could play Watson and Waller in the flex, or you could pick up Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel, or KJ Osborne and play them. Needs to.
I'm probably going to go Watson Waller. I think I'm going to stick with that. He has Deontay. I think we said we want to stay away from that if we can.
I'd prefer to.
Yeah, and then Samuel. It's so hard. Like I know he's been really good the last 3 weeks, but it feels like a trap. Like no one really started him these last 3 weeks. We're all going to start him this week, and then he's going to put up like 5 points. It kind of feels that way. Or KJ Osborne. Yeah, I'm just gonna probably stick with Watson and Waller to be honest.
Yeah. I'm checking my flex rankings here because this is what this requires in the background because it's deep enough that yeah. And then Waller, yeah. I don't really like any of your choices, Cam. I'm sorry. That's why this is taking so long.
Yeah, if you're not gonna start Watson or Waller, I would just start Deontay over Curtis Samuel and KJ Osborne.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to play Watson
Mm-hmm.
as much as I hate it.
Yep.
Because he's got a great matchup. So I'm going to play Watson. The real question is, would you rather play Waller, Deontay, Curtis Samuel, or KJ Osborne? And that is a real question because I don't really want to play Waller if I could avoid it. Because really you're talking about like who's most likely to get me 10 points. Well, Waller is going to have to score to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas any of those other guys could get you to 10 points out of your flex without having to score. Deontay could do it just by catching 4 passes. and playing half the game. So could KJ Osborne. So could Curtis Samuel.
Does the half PPR change your thoughts at all?
Yeah, slightly. That's kind of the problem here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue, is that it's half PPR. So that's part of the issue. Is
Well,
it's
who would
it's it's
who would
really
you?
close.
Yeah, who would you be dropping to pick up Samuel and Osborne too? Like, I
That's
don't
what
want
I
to
would need
drop.
more. That's what I would need more
Yeah.
information about, because you're not dropping Deontay.
No.
Like, that's not gonna. You waited this long,
Yeah.
but I
If you have,
probably actually would. See, yeah. See, I'm gonna avoid the Curtis Samuel thing, and
mhm,
I'm gonna avoid Curtis Samuel and KJ Osborne. Really, what
yeah.
you're talking about is, do you want to play Waller or Deontay? And here's how I'll answer this question: are you projected to win, or are you projected to lose? Because if I'm projected to win, I'll play Waller. If I'm supposed to win by like 20 points, especially, I'm gonna play Waller, because it
mhm,
doesn't matter, and I just need something. If I'm projected to lose, I'm playing Deontay Johnson, because I can't deal. If Deontay Johnson goes out and puts up a 2 because he's clearly limited, fine. If Waller goes
mhm,
out and puts up a 2 because he sucks, I'm going to be pretty pissed off about it the next day. Like, that's kind of my issue. Like, so that's the way I'm going to answer that question: is if I'm projected to lose this game, get in there, Deontay. And we're hoping that he's healthy. But if I'm projected to win comfortably, especially, like, it's just, and I'd probably just play Waller at that point, because
mhm.
I know I'm going to get something.
Yeah.
It's less likely that Waller's going to go out there immediately, pull a hamstring, and then have to go sit down again, which
Yeah.
could happen with Deontay.
Or they play him 30% of the snaps or
Right, because
whatever.
they're trying to
Yeah.
ease him in. Right.
Yeah.
Chiefs defense. Other defenses available: Colts, Bears, Giants. Jeez.
Colts, Bears,
You just listed
Giants.
every defense in the league.
Who's it? Colts,
Kansas
Bears,
City. I
Giants.
get the question. Kansas City's got a tough one this week against the Chargers.
I'd probably pick up the Lions. They're playing Baltimore. I just think they're
I
the
don't
best
want.
defense, though. Like, it's kind of like
Yeah.
the we were talking about it with the Browns when they played the 49ers, and we were all afraid, and it was kind of like, well, they could just be the best defense in the league, and it kind of showed out that way. Yeah, I mean, I'd either just pick up the Lions and just kind of, you can kind of have them rest of season, or I'm trying to see these other
I
matchups
would play
here.
the Packers probably,
Yeah, that's
based
true.
on based
Packers.
on that. Based on this, the one that jumps off the screen to me based on my rankings is the Packers.
Hmm.
Jags, it's too late, and I wouldn't want them anyway. Lions is a good defense, or it's looking like it's becoming a good defense, but I don't want to deal with it.
Hmm.
Because you never know, and they don't really have a good matchup. I forget who they play exactly.
The
Baltimore.
Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be okay, but honestly, I'd rather play the Packers against the horrible Denver offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my
I mean,
plan.
Giants are sneaky if we believe that they've turned a corner and they're going to play like they did against the Bills.
But I don't believe that. You might. I don't.
No, I don't.
The only rosterable Giant to me is Wan'Dale Robinson and Saquon.
Yeah, Waller.
Saquon aside.
Yeah, and Waller because he's a tight end.
I guess Waller. You know how I feel about tight end. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you get the same production from Waller as you do like Zach Ertz and Ferguson. It makes no difference. Like,
Yeah. I mean, would you just stick with the Chiefs then? I mean, I know they're playing the
no,
Chargers.
I would actually probably play the Packers over the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I cannot stress enough how bad Denver is.
No,
It's not even like the Packers defense is good, but the Broncos can't move the ball at all at this
so
point.
you're just dropping the Chiefs defense then and just picking up the Packers and not worried
Probably,
about.
but you probably have something else you could drop too.
Yeah.
If you're still rostering Josh Kelly and you don't have Austin Eckler, bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia. You got Matt Breida still? Bye. Bye, Felicia. You got any Patriot? Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
Maybe Born in this week with all the buys. Like, there's a lot of things I would drop at this point. And I hate rostering two defenses, but the Chiefs are just good enough that I might want to hold on to the Chiefs for the future because they actually have some good matchups coming up.
Yeah.
But you have so many available defenses, but the problem is they're all bad.
Yeah. So if you're dropping a guy that doesn't really matter, I'm fine. If you have to drop anyone like significant, I think I just roll with the Chiefs. If not,
I could see doing that too,
yeah.
depending on.
If not, I'm gonna go Lions. So
White or Warren? I'm assuming Rashad White.
oof,
Half
White
point.
or Warren, half points.
That's
My
actually legit. That's a legit question right there. I
it
like that.
really
That's a
is.
good question. That's
I'm gonna lean White. I don't know. I don't love it. If it was full PPR, I'd think about Warren. Even though White does, I think he's obviously catching the ball pretty well. But we're still getting, you know, decent usage. He's out there 80% of the time, 75% of the time. He's, most games he's getting double-digit carries and 3 targets. So I'm gonna lean White. But
yeah. I'm gonna play White too, but I totally get this question. It's at a level where you are actually legitimately asking that question. I've got White a few spots ahead. It's actually closer than people might think. I've got White at 19. I've got Warren at 22 and half point. It's a legit question. I understand why you would be thinking about this. Warren has been good. He's been stealing little bit more every week of Najee Harris's job. And really, it's kind of like, I'm assuming this is your RB2. So you're kind of at a point where it's like, who's more likely to get me 10 points? And it's like, that's a legitimate question.
yeah,
Like, that's a legitimate question here. But I would also lean White just based on the idea that he's got the whole job to himself and he should catch enough passes to matter. I'm not expecting another 6 like what we got last week in PPR. That was, I think, like the floor.
mm-hmm.
But I definitely understand why I'm being asked this because Warren, every time he goes out, he seems to do something that makes you want to believe in it.
Do you believe in the narrative of they coming off a bye and they're going to transition to Warren over Najee? Or I still think Najee.
I've heard that so many times that I
Yeah.
just don't really put a lot of stock in it. It's one of those things where it's like I would rather like see it and then react to it that way rather than try to guess what Mike Tomlin's going to do.
Yeah.
Because trying to predict Mike Tomlin is not something I would recommend.
And I think Warren's he might be better in the role he's in rather than getting like 15 carries up the middle. Like we might just want to see him with these 10 carries and 4 catches, and he's way more efficient. So
Right, because that's the whole thing you're hanging your hat on with Warren is that he's super efficient with the touches he gets. So I would rather deal with that with White, but I will say the gap on that is getting narrower every single week. So I totally understand.
PPR, I might lean Jalen Warren.
Seriously, I might too. It's really close. Would you drop Kenny Pickett to pick up Deshaun Watson? That's the question.
Would I drop
Kenny Pickett to pick up Deshaun Watson?
No, drop Watson and pick up Pickett, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, I read this backwards. You were correct. I read that backwards.
No,
I wouldn't do that either.
No. Well, I know we're down on Watson. I know he practiced in full. He's played in 3 weeks, and 2 of those weeks he's put up over 20 points. So, like, I still think he can be pretty good. Even he runs the ball. That's what he did week 1. I know he didn't look great as a passer, but the last time we saw him, he looked much improved. And then he got the shoulder injury, and who knows what it is exactly? Is it a pain tolerance thing? Whatever. But Kenny Pickett to me is just not. Yeah, it's not even a question. I don't want to play Pickett ever.
I don't want Pickett either, just as a general thing, especially with all the injuries they're still dealing with. Now, if you've got other quarterbacks that you want to list off that we can look at, maybe I'll change my answer, but not for Pickett.
Put it this way, Pickett has scored 3 more points than Watson this year. And he's played it.
Right. And he's played every game. Right.
Yeah. So
no point league, wide receiver 2, Pickens or Thomas. There might have needed to be a third one. Oh, wait.
Thomas is playing, so okay, here we go. Is this who Pickens?
I'm assuming this is the same question because the first one is like it's like he stopped typing.
Yeah, and Thomas is already playing, so
right. So that's already happening, and that was written, by the way, after the kickoff. So I don't want to hear about. So you didn't answer my Thursday night question. We got there beforehand. That was written after the fact. So
yeah,
Pickens, JSN, Samuel.
It's not JSN. I'm probably still gonna just lean Pickens.
I'm going Pickens. Holding my nose while I do it too.
Yeah.
Hold my nose. Don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, Curtis Samuel does get carries, which
right. But he's got in a standard league, he's got to score. This question might as well be written: who's most likely to score?
Yes,
Pickens, JSN, Samuel.
Yeah,
And
it's
the answer is
Pickens.
Pickens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's standard, or as we call it, no point.
Mhm. Yeah, it's no longer standard.
You get it. No, you get it. Because there's no point. You get it.
Yeah,
You get it.
got
You
it.
get it. See, somebody gets it. Okay. Oh, hey, and Polo, our local beat reporter. Oh, wait, this isn't the one I wanted. It was here. Haha, this is what I wanted. And now you see why we're not playing Lawrence. Like,
Yeah, I know.
so Etienne's already on the board. Uh, Dan, your videos are being recorded tomorrow. Sorry for everyone else who's watching this. Dan, your videos are being recorded tomorrow after we get off of work. Okay. So we got you. We got it all. We've got people already waiting in the wings to do it. I believe it's going to be me, the nerd, and Steve, tentatively. We might have Mike as well, but that's tomorrow. So you'll have your videos in your inbox by Friday evening. So tomorrow evening.
Mhm.
So there you go. For those who don't know what the hell we're talking about, which I wouldn't blame you for, there's a thing on our website called roster resolution, where if you purchase a code from our website, and I can link this if people are interested, we will, for $5, we will review your entire league and your team, and we'll give you waiver advice, custom to you, totally bespoke to you. We'll come up with some trades. We'll evaluate some different trade partners for you. We will literally do a full deep dive on your entire league and your team. $5. It's called Roster Resolution on our website. It takes a couple days for us to compile them, obviously. There's a waiting list. But usually we can turn them around in less than a week. So if anybody's interested, we do sell that as a paid service.
Yep. Dynasty teams, everything.
Right. Dynasty teams, doesn't matter. We'll do it. Except for Yahoo. Stop playing on Yahoo. Look at me. Stop playing on Yahoo. It is not 1997. I wish it was. I'd have more hair. I'd be 20 pounds lighter. Like Clinton would still be in the White House. There'd be a lot of positives. Remember this? Okay, so this is the follow up to this.
Flexing Watson while okay.
So you're gonna drop somebody to pick up Samuel and Osborne, right?
Yeah.
So the options would be Miles Sanders or Mims. I am not dropping Miles Sanders.
Yeah, and I don't even love dropping Mims with the Jerry Judy trade rumors and just how
Well, we got about 2 weeks left on that. So if they're gonna do that, they need to hurry the hell up.
Yeah, I know. It's just yeah. I think I would just hold on to both those players and then
I don't
start
want
Waller or
Osborne.
Deontay.
I know a lot of people like Osborne. He had all the work in the world last week, and he managed 8 whopping points. So
Yeah.
like 6.5 point. Woo! Like don't care, don't want. He was hideously inefficient again.
Yeah.
Like you see what I'm saying? He gets 6 points no matter how many snaps he plays. It's horrible. Like it's not something I want. And then what was my other choice?
Yeah, we need to learn our lesson about
Curtis
yeah.
Samuel.
Oh yeah. No,
And I'm
no,
not
no,
dropping Mims for Samuel. Not yet.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much upside still on Mims because I'm right there with you, Mike. If they get rid of Sutton or Judy, or preferably both,
Yeah.
okay, well, Mims is starting
Yes.
every week for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I could see a scenario where the Broncos are literally starting Mims and Brandon Johnson the rest of the way. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need to learn our lesson about when a receiver gets injured, the next receiver is not just going to replace that production. Like KJ Osborne's going to be, a poor man's Justin Jefferson. Like, no, it's not going to happen. These aren't running backs. Running backs we can do that. Wide receivers, yeah, of course. You want to pick up Osborne and see, he's going to be useful. But yeah, he is what he is. We know this.
Right. Right.
He was already starting. It's not like
If
he wasn't starting.
That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
however many targets he gets you 6 points.
Yeah.
I don't have no interest in that for my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Even in a week with 6 teams on bye, I don't care. Like Mims has infinitely more upside. Now, in 2 weeks, if the Broncos haven't moved on and they're going to ride this crap out, okay, maybe we have another conversation.
Yeah.
But honestly, the uptick you would get from either playing Waller to Osborne, it's just not enough. Not at the cost of having to drop Miles Sanders or Mims. Miles Sanders is coming back at some point, and he was reasonably effective when he was actually healthy.
Yeah.
I do remember this, Anthony. I do know why you're asking the question and listing a lot of defenses. I do get how we arrived here. I'm not trying to be critical. I understand. I have Tank Dell Oh, he wants. Okay, so you're gonna drop Tank Dell or Ferguson for the Packers?
Ferguson.
Yeah, I'd probably
He's
drop Ferguson.
he's not a good enough tight end to
You could
warrant holding on
almost
to.
certainly reacquire Ferguson
Yeah,
if you needed to.
yeah,
He's on bye. Like, I really doubt anybody in your league is going to sit there and be like, "You're a moron. You dropped Jake Ferguson."
yeah,
Like, I mean, maybe I don't know who you play with, but they could have it.
yeah.
Like, it's that's fine.
Yep,
Uh, yeah, that sounds about right. That all tracks.
yep.
That
And
all
Calvin
tracks.
Calvin Ridley has nothing so far,
They're all gonna have nothing. They're
uh,
all gonna have nothing.
except for ETN.
Drop Osborne for Mims or Judy.
Drop Osborne for Mims or Judy. Man, do you need someone like this week to start? Because I probably lean Osborne over.
You're beating me to my question. Go ahead, keep going. You're
Yeah,
on the right track here.
yeah, I'd lean Osborne over the other two to start this week. But if it's more of like a bench stash, I mean, I don't even know who I would want because like, what if Judy?
Mims.
Well, yeah, I'd probably lean Mims. What are the Judy? I've heard the Indianapolis Colts rumors. I don't
So
really
yeah,
love
he's
that.
odds betting favorites for Judy right now. Colts, Panthers, Patriots.
Yeah, okay, yeah, give me
Don't
Mims.
don't want, do not want.
Yeah,
Like Colts, he would be the second or third best receiver, not even like target getter.
yeah,
And he'd have to learn the offense. So that's at least like 3 weeks. That's nothing to me. That's like when people got all excited about Chase Claypool. And
yeah,
I'm like, dude, he doesn't know the offense. Like, what is he
yeah,
gonna do for you? Like, maybe for the future it might be cool, but the whole thing with the Colts was they wanted him to take over for Pierce. And it's like, okay, he might be able to take over for Pierce at some point in week 14, like when he finally knows the offense. But like he doesn't know it. And then Panthers is like they need another guy in Carolina. I totally get that. That's almost like a futures play. You know what I mean? Because they got Thielen now, and my God, has that even
yeah.
outkicked my lofty
My,
expectations for what it would be?
jeez,
That's insane.
that's like the dude's on pace since like week 2 for like 1,700 yards and 150
We
catches.
were
Like,
talking about it would be. Remember the
holy
preseason
crap!
show with the Panthers? I think you were on that one with us in 32
Yeah,
teams and three. And
yep,
I was like, if you got 800 yards out of Thielen for what relatively
yes.
his price tag was, you'd be thrilled with that. He's doubled it. He's on pace for doubling it. Like
It
it's
doesn't
insane.
make sense because it's not like it was like, oh, we slept on him. He was injured last year. He played in 17 games last year on the one of the most pass heavy teams in the league, top 3, I think, and he put up 700 yards or whatever he put up last year. It wasn't like we slept on him. It was just like, where did this come from? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
it's
makes me
insane.
feel good as a man who's like 35. It makes me feel good to watch somebody who's about my age running around out there looking good. I couldn't do it. I tear my I effed up my knee just watching him.
Yeah,
But he's like he's holding it down for the over 30 crowd out there because he's looking great, and it's just the route running is so good. It's the
yeah.
one thing he's always done well is run
I,
those routes.
I think we can learn a little bit from it because he moved mostly. He's playing a lot in the slot and stuff. So I think that kind of increases your career. I don't know why the words escaping me, but anyways, it adds to your career.
Longevity.
Yeah, the longevity of your career for another year or two. Like, but not a lot of people are willing to move to the slot because you have to do all the dirty work, right? Like you have
Right.
to do the
Yeah.
blocking and all
Well,
that
you
stuff.
also
So
got to worry about your rib cage
yeah,
because you're going to
yeah,
get blasted and it's going to hurt like hell and
yep,
you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to have a fun time. It's not going to be
yeah,
fun for you. But uh no, then no. If you're starting one of those guys this week, I'm
yeah,
as much as I hate it, I'm starting Osborne,
yeah,
and I do hate it. Oh, I hate it. Like, but I would keep an eye out on Mims or Judy as like futures
yeah.
because Osborne's shelf life is very limited, and he's kind of bad. But Mims is the one that I really have circled for like the future for the back half of this year for redraft. Judy has become is like a prospect where it's like that might be something again someday, but for right now, it's kind of nothing.
Hmm.
he's just not getting used efficiently in Denver. They're not throwing it to him enough. Cortland Sutton is just Michael Thomas 2.0. Like he either scores a touchdown and you get like a 13 or a 14, or you get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, I've seen that stat line on a Sean Payton team before. I know how this works. Hey, it's like 5 targets, 4 for 40, and if he scores, you love it, and if he doesn't, it kind of hurt you. It's not great. And Judy's just over there like just running cardio, and
Yeah,
it's a mess.
yeah, I've heard he kind of like checks out. Again, I don't know for sure, but
He's
you know,
unhappy. It's
yeah,
very obvious that he's unhappy. He no longer wants to be in Denver. He's trying to get himself traded. The problem is that anybody who wants him doesn't want to spend the capital the Broncos want. But this is it. They already picked up his 5th-year option. So, like, you don't have a lot of good choices here. If he goes to the Patriots, I have no interest because the Patriots are in free fall. If he goes to Carolina, I'll talk to you about that next year. Either working in conjunction with Thielen or taking Thielen's job if
Yep.
Thielen decides to retire. Or, let's be honest, someone pays Adam Thielen a stupid amount of money in the offseason to go play slot for them. Because the way he's playing, Mike, am I crazy? The way he's playing, would that shock you?
I think he got a 3-year deal. I'm double checking now. Yeah, he got a 3-year deal.
Oh, yeah, that's
from,
right. He did get a
Carolina,
3-year deal. I
which is
forgot all about it.
We were
Forgot all
all
about
like,
it.
what are you doing,
No,
Carolina?
I forgot all about that. I
Yeah.
forgot they were
Yeah.
smart enough to sign him for a 3-year deal, literally locking him up to what is probably the end of his career. If you got his contract, what's the out year on it? It's not 3 years fully guaranteed. What's
It's
the out year?
2025 is the out year, so he's
So
definitely
he's playing there next year. Okay, never mind then.
Yep.
So it'll be. Forgive me for not memorizing the Adam Thielen contract.
This could be his best year ever.
It is. No, he's had some good years.
Yeah, he has almost a 1,400 yard, 113 catch, 9 touchdown year, and then that's his best year.
Yeah,
and on pace to shatter
was
that.
Was that the year before they got Jefferson? I think that was
2018, so it was 2 years before.
Okay,
I think Jefferson was 2020. Yeah,
that sounds right. Actually, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
but yeah, Thielen has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, he's into must-start territory, and you're kind of counting on it week to week at this point. So it's like, okay, didn't have that on my 2023 bingo card. Like, I was hoping for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns, and that would have been good enough for what his ADP was. That would have been fine. He's probably already damn near 800 yards halfway through the season. He's probably sitting like right on the doorstep of it.
It's less than 300 away, which actually I thought he would be closer, but yeah, he's 509.
That's insane, though. That's insane for what you
especially because he put up like nothing week 1.
Right, he barely didn't even play. Like it's
this is like 5 weeks of production.
You're very welcome, KM. What is this? Oh, gross.
Kirk. Okay.
Lovely.
It gets even better if you.
Oh yeah, no, it continues on. Like it continues.
Muff punt.
I cannot express how little I care about this game. Like my apathy towards this game is palpable. Like,
I was against the Jags, like everyone thinking they're just going to be a top 5 offense. I was like, I just haven't seen it. Like even with Trevor Lawrence, like we've seen about a 4 or 5 week stretch from Trevor Lawrence, which is really good, and that's about it. But we give him a lot of passes. Like I know he's played better than his stats show, but at some point it's like, well, come on, man. Like
they lead the league in drops. That doesn't help him. So you got crap like that going on. But at the end of the day, points is points, and you ain't getting them. So it's that, and that's why I'm looking at that on Thursday night, and I'm like, the only Jag I would have been willing to play was Etienne, but notice how nobody asked about that, because if you've got Etienne, you're playing him. I don't care what day the game is on. Like it doesn't matter. That game could be on a Tuesday, and you're going to play Etienne. It makes no difference. Like,
I mean, I had to start Ridley just because the nature of this week, but I didn't love it.
Anthony's got a good one here. So projected to lose, looking for a miracle at flex in PPR. Gabe Davis, Osborne, Sutton, Samuel, Palmer.
It's Davis from what you're projected to lose, looking for a miracle. Like he's the guy that can give you a miracle out of all those guys. So
I agree. It's a miracle. That's your miracle shot. And by the way, you could actually make this a lot shorter. Gabe Davis or Palmer.
Yeah.
These are my choices because I'm eliminating Osborne, I'm eliminating Sutton, and I'm eliminating Samuel immediately. It's Gabe Davis or it's Palmer. Those are the only two that get enough consistent work for me to really even think a miracle would be possible.
Yeah.
Samuel would have to score twice.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
not going to happen. Sutton would also have to score twice, and good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Osborne would have to actually learn how to play football in an efficient manner and probably score twice. And that's not.
Yeah.
I love how people were freaking out about Addison, especially in the Discord. People were losing their minds about Addison, and then he scored, and everybody just shut up immediately. And I'm just
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
But
it's Gabe Davis. We agree.
Mhm.
And my second choice would be Palmer,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't play Palmer over Davis. I'd
No.
think about it.
Davis, we've seen him before score 99-yard touchdowns or whatever he scored in his career. So that's who you're going with. That they destroy the Patriots like the last 3 years or so. Like
Yeah.
the Bills absolutely destroy
When the Patriots
so.
are a shell of their former
Oh my
selves.
God,
Like
it's
I
disgusting.
wasn't kidding when I was saying before the only possible rosterable Patriot might be Bourne for this week, and then you could probably cut him again.
That was our. I'm pretty sure that was our quickest 32 and 32 video. Like not
It
even
was.
close.
It
wasn't
was
even close.
I think it was 18 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like most of those. Some of those were 90 minutes,
Yeah.
and especially if there was an argument, and
No.
like
Yeah.
there was. By the way, Brandon Ayuk over Deebo Samuel, baby.
Hey, all right.
I'm winning that by a country mile right now, man. We got a second half of the year still to go, but right now I am housing you on that particular wager.
Yeah. Actually, it's not that far off. If I know,
Yeah, but
points
only
per
one of
game
them is
it is.
healthy, so I
That's
get
the
the
big thing.
lead
Yeah.
gets bigger.
But you can't, injuries is that no. Ayuk's definitely shown more. I was more worried about Brock Purdy and his ability to get Ayuk the ball, push the
Yeah,
ball
that
down
doesn't
the
really
field,
seem to
and
be an issue.
no, it doesn't at all. So
Indy or the Ravens? Normally this wouldn't be a question, but I do get it because the Ravens don't have a good matchup because they're playing Detroit.
Indy's Cleveland.
Cleveland.
I'm just gonna go the Ravens because they're a
So
better
am I.
defense. Yeah.
So am I. I know nobody wants to hear that. I have a feeling I know what the answer that Jose wanted was. Jose wanted us to say Indy and roll the hot hand with the matchup. But honestly, this is also going to get into the idea of what are you dropping? Because I got to tell you, the Ravens is like one of three defenses that I probably wouldn't cut. They're good enough to where, especially with their schedule down the stretch, I would probably hang on to the Ravens because I don't want to cut them. They have a bad week this week. I understand nobody wants that, but they're not playing the Lions every week.
And they get the Cardinals next week, so
That's what part of it is. Like you'd have to if you had to cut them, especially, it's like okay, but it's not. It's more than that. It's Cardinals, Browns in week 10, and then for the playoffs, you've got like Jacksonville, and then the Steelers is in here a couple times. Like, yeah, I'd probably want to hang on to that for a little while. Well, either way, you'd want to hang on to it for next week because it's the Cardinals.
they're one of those where I think there's I'm just checking now. They're seventh in total points. They're averaging over 9 points a game, and they're not even fully healthy.
No, they're not.
But that doesn't seem to be an issue, really.
My favorite part of this question was this, though. That is the best.
Whole PPR, yeah.
Jose, I love you. Never change. That is amazing. All right, Saints kick a field goal. Good for them. Okay. So, okay, it's slowing down here on the questions, that is fine. Let's do quarterback start of the week then.
Yeah, I got it up. If you actually,
well, hold on. You're not cutting the Ravens? Oh, you have both defenses on the roster.
okay.
Oh.
Cut Indy. Like pick up someone.
I have them 2 spots apart in my rankings. I'll put it to you this way, Jose. I would, if I was projected to lose, like I'm going to get my pants pulled down and spanked, yeah, I'd play Indy. Just based on the idea that there are turnovers, like, and stuff like that, I would play Indy over the Ravens. If I don't have to cut somebody, then I would play Indy this one time, and then as soon as that team unlocked, I would immediately cut Indy. Be the first thing I would do. I'd play Indy and then immediately cut Indy because you don't need him anymore.
Yeah, I would just cut them now and just play the Ravens. Pick up.
I don't blame you for that as an answer.
Pick up a handcuff running back.
I would not do this
Something.
at any level. Also,
Yeah.
keep in mind something, Mike. You don't talk to Jose like I do. I would bet you anything he's asking for this crazy league he plays in, where he has these insane position limits, where he's not allowed to hold more than like 4 running backs
So
and
dumb.
4 wide receivers. I've talked to him about this for most of my adult life, it feels like. And it's just one of those things where it's like I have a feeling that I know what I'm talking about as it relates to his questions, because I've done this before. And I think I'm going to be right. At some point he'll put my answer in the chat. But I think that's why he has multiple defenses, is because he's not allowed to have a proper roster, because this league doesn't play by rules that I would ever be willing to play under. I would never play in that league because it would make me insane. I would get so aggravated within like 2 weeks at that league.
Yeah,
I want to pick up all my projects and handcuffs and crap like that, and they wouldn't let me, and I'd get I know what I'm talking about. That's why he has 2 defenses, is because he's not allowed to have a proper roster.
Yeah, it's I remember seeing one where it was like you can only roster like 4 receivers, and I think you could start 3. I was like, what is this league? Like, what are you doing?
I hate when they do that. If it was up to me, I would change how that league fundamentally functions, and you'd be allowed to have positional limits on everything, but we would change other rules to prevent people from hoarding.
Yeah.
You'd have a limit. We wouldn't do waiver priority. We'd do fab, and I would give you like a sarcastically small amount of money. Like I'd give you like $100 and be like, all right, you really want that? Okay. Like, you're going to be out of waiver money real quick. Like, so there's stuff like that you can also do to kind of nerf people from hoarding, and kind of get people to play correctly when people don't want to play correctly. Because I get how we get to the positional limits conversation, because you're trying to get people to have some decorum usually and play nice in the sandbox. But in my opinion, it doesn't really solve the problem, and all it does is punish everyone.
Yeah.
Because now no one is allowed to have nice toys. And it's like, that doesn't make me feel better. Like, but that's why Jose's questions sometimes are a little weird.
No, that's fair. If you're gonna have any positional limits, like I could see maybe quarterback, but what are we doing?
Some people will hold like 3 quarterbacks, and I get that, because there's only like 20 something that you would ever want, and that's even being generous. It's really not even 20. It's like 18 maybe that really should be rostered, and it's
it's funny when
that league better be paying out like $1,000 to the person who wins it for me to play in that league, for real. Like, to deal with the aggravation of it, that better be like my entire extended family, or you're paying me like $1,000 if I win. Because
seriously,
like, I'm not dealing with this crap. Like,
yeah,
but that's why. So Jose, we disagree. I would play Indy and then immediately cut Indy. But Mike, do you want to change your answer? No, you probably wouldn't change your answer. You'd probably still play the Ravens anyway. So
yeah, I just think they're a better defense. Like in the Browns, if they get Watson back, like they're not a bad.
Well, his other choice that he was saying was the Giants, but you couldn't pay me to roster the Giants. I don't care that it's Washington. Don't care.
I'd do Ravens, Giants, Indy. To be
really?
Honest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I would.
Can't do it. Can't do it. You'd be banking on the Giants being able to get sacks, and maybe they can.
And Sam Howell, we've seen him be very turnover, and Sam Howell gives up sacks like
that. Well, that's the one. That's what I'm saying. I'm expecting Sam Howell to have a pretty good game. Like that's
fair.
And that's kind of my issue, is like, I'm not afraid of the Giants secondary. If you're afraid of anything on the Giants, it's their pass rush. So you're hanging your hat on, could the Giants get me 4 sacks? And I don't know that they could.
Well, I remember hearing how many times Howell's been sacked like a couple weeks ago. I was like, that's not right. Like,
no, it's
he
real.
hasn't been sacked that much.
He gets sacked like crazy.
He hasn't been sacked less than 4 times in one game.
That's what I'm saying.
5, 9, 4, 6.
Mike, I didn't invent these numbers. 4 was a deliberate choice, and I know this. I forgot we're doing a radio show for other people. Mike, explain to the audience why.
No, and I mean, we saw them shut down Josh Allen and that Bills offense. Like, was that them turning a corner type of thing? Like, I don't know. But it doesn't. It's still. I just start Ravens. I'm not even. I mean, or Colts. No, I wouldn't drop one to pick up the Giants. To be
Well, that's
honest.
not. Yeah. Okay. Let's do quarterback start of the week here. If you have Jason's thing and you want to go through it, go ahead. But you're gonna do one
Yeah.
for yourself as well, or are you just gonna do? Are you just gonna do Jason's since he
Uh,
already gave you the notes?
yeah, I'll read Jason's and I'll pull one out myself. But it just remind me, it's anyone outside the top 12 for quarterbacks, right?
Start is outside the top 12. Correct.
Okay. So Jason's is actually a guy who's playing now is Derek Carr.
Oh, he cheated. Jason's a
Yeah.
cheater. Jason's a giant cheater who cheats at
Um,
things.
oh no, but
And
then he changed it. Okay, I'm reading.
he
He's
did. He
going
did
Baker.
change it because he knows I would have mocked him. Because
Yeah,
he knows I don't let
Baker.
him pick Thursday night guys. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
let him. I'd have mocked him.
So
Would have
yeah,
mocked him
he
anyway. Not
he
even matter.
actually he changed to Baker
Okay.
to
Okay.
put up good numbers against the Falcons. Evans and Godwin back should be able to move the ball and build up a big lead. So yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, for me, I'd probably lean. I'm going to go a little bit cheating, but I'm going to say Deshaun Watson if he plays. I think he's
With the
ranked.
caveat of if he plays, right?
Yeah, he's ranked 21st. Yeah, it's actually really just looking at it now. It's really tough for quarterbacks. Like,
It
um,
is. It
I mean,
is.
Goff feels like it's cheating because he's ranked
Goff
13th,
is
right?
actually what I would suggest, but Goff is cheating.
Yeah,
Goff is cheating because he's at 13 and he's rostered in like 70% of leagues. This is not
yeah,
helpful.
yeah.
Like
And he's
the
probably a
Goff
top
thing is
12.
not helpful. Like
Yeah,
it's not helpful. So
he's QB5 on the year. That's definitely
I
cheating.
know it's
Yeah,
stupid. So the Goff thing is dumb, and I know it's Baltimore, but Goff would have been that's the one that screams off the page to me. So we're gonna do this a little differently since everybody's cheating already. There's just rampant cheating is already happening here.
yeah.
My two choices would actually be Jordan Love or Sam Howell, and here's why. I know they're rated inside the top 12, but by rostership percentage, those guys are available.
Mm-hmm.
So the real answer, cheating in the game a little bit, but the real answer is go see if either Love or Howell is available if you need to stream a guy.
Yeah,
That's the real
that's
answer here.
definitely. When I was actually thinking about this before I even saw who was ranked in the top 12, I was like, oh, Love is going to be my choice.
Yeah.
It's just against Denver, all his weapons hopefully back, um, and he's put up 20 points. I think,
Yeah.
like we said, 4 of the 5 weeks. So
It's cheating, but we're going to allow it with 6 teams on bye. And we're gonna amend a rule here for just this week. We're gonna go by rostership percentage because that's actual helpful advice as opposed to start Jared Goff, which you were probably already doing anyway.
yeah.
And I don't want a lot of these guys that are down at the lower level. Baker Mayfield is a fine choice though. What about sit of the week?
Yeah, so Jason actually disagrees with us. He said Love versus the Broncos.
Well, he's not here to
Which,
defend himself, so
yeah, I mean, he's just saying the offense looks bad if you can pressure Love, Sertan shutting down Christian Watson. So, um, yeah, I think we disagree with that
yeah,
one.
we're gonna disagree on that.
Yeah.
For me, the sit would actually, and it's a tough one for sits because you're gonna start whoever I say because you probably don't have better choices. So the sit for me, and I would normally, I mean, you might say Matthew Stafford here because
Yeah.
he would be in the inside looking out, and that would be fine. But they're just moving the ball so efficiently that there's no way I could bring myself to sit Stafford with this many people on bye. For me, it would actually be Herbert, and it's less about anything other than you're going to play Herbert, okay? Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
no way you're not. So this is all pointless. But for me, it's the matchup against Kansas City and the fact that he needs to throw 2 touchdowns in that game to really return what you're hoping for. And I'm not actually convinced he's going to throw 2 touchdowns in that game. He'll throw 1. I feel good about that. But if you were telling me like, Neil, you got to put $50 down on the money line and the over under is set at 2,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be sitting there like, I don't know. I don't know. It's right there.
Yeah. He did not
I'm a
look
little.
good
He did not.
Monday night. He just missed a
Did
lot
not.
of throws. And
He overthrew Keenan Allen twice in a way that, like, one of those would have
yeah.
been an easy touchdown. Keenan Allen would still be running.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah.
As right as I've been about Brandon Ayuk, if you want to dunk on me, you were right about Keenan Allen. I wasn't going to bring attention to it, but
Yeah.
then, well, I sat there and sarcastically ate chips for an hour. Well, you guys did that show
Yeah.
yourselves.
I mean, you were just more worried about age and injury. It wasn't ever a question of ability. So
Age, injury, and just what the hell is that team going to look like in general? But
mhm.
no, that's been definitively proven that nah, he ain't too old yet. He's running around like a young man out there. He's looking good. But
Yeah.
Herbert has actually not been looking great. So, and I get it. Last week, I want to throw that out a little bit because they were playing the Cowboys defense, and I understand the Cowboys defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
They were generating a nice pass rush against your team. I don't know if you noticed. They were
Oh yeah.
getting through your O line pretty efficiently there.
Yeah.
Herbert looked terrified at various points.
Oh, for sure, for sure. What's funny is though that Herbert is averaging. He has the highest average for quarterbacks in fantasy
I
over
know.
Josh Allen. So
I know.
yeah, you're not sitting him, but I could see that. I went Russell Wilson. I mean,
Sure.
I just
Also cheating because he's at 12. There's so much rampant cheating with 6 teams on a bye.
It is. But I was just never convinced. Like the numbers he was putting up were, it was kind of fluky. 50-yard Hail Mary pass and things like that. So, and the Packers are actually pretty good against quarterbacks to start the year, only giving up less than 15 points. So yeah, it is cheating. But again, it's these heavy bye weeks. I think there's 3 or 4, no-brainer starting quarterbacks that are on buys this week. So it's kind of hard to find one.
It's all gross. Speaking of gross, we're going to go straight into running back. And if you want gross, oof. With 6 teams on a bye, you got to find a start of the week here outside the top 24.
Yeah, so Jason has Jalen Warren.
That is officially cheating now because Jalen Warren has moved up. So I don't know when he wrote that, but
yeah, I don't know. He sent it to me last night, I think, or this morning, but
it doesn't matter when he sent it. He wrote them whenever he wrote them.
Yeah.
It's very possible he wrote those Monday.
So he snuck into the top 20. Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he slipped in, which I can't say I don't understand. I understand how he would do it. He was close anyway.
Yeah. You can go ahead with yours while I take a look.
Oh, it's disgusting. All of this is disgusting. It's super, super duper disgusting. Mine is based on the idea that I don't think Roschon Johnson is going to play.
Damn, I was going to choose that.
So it's Donta Foreman. It's Donta Foreman. Donta Foreman has an amazing matchup, and I really don't think that Roschon's going to play. If Roschon does play, you can yell at me on Sunday morning. I will accept your hate mail. I will be on with Jason for the final countdown, working the chat. Feel free to address it right to me. I've already explained this. I run that chat. Yell at me if you want. But for me, I do not believe that Roschon's going to get right in time to play, and I believe it'll be Donta Foreman. That's the one that I have circled. If you want another one, it would be Gus Edwards, but I really don't want to play Gus Edwards.
No.
But the only reason I even bring up Gus Edwards is because he's a healthy running back on a team that's going to try to run the ball in that game, and you're 6 teams on a bye. Hate to sound like a broken record, but that's what it is. And Donta Foreman, though, is the one that I immediately leaps off the page. It's like, yeah, that's it. Play that.
Yeah, and last week people were disappointed. He still got like 16 carries. He just didn't fall into the end zone, which is
but he's playing. But he's playing the Raiders this time, and that's much friendlier. That is so much friendlier.
Oh yeah. No, I like that. That's the one I was going to lean. Christian McCaffrey. Now that's cheating because you're going to start him.
So much cheating.
No, I'll give you one. I'll go Latavius Murray. With Damian Harris out, he should. I know, but all these guys, right?
I understand.
Kind of puke.
I understand.
But yeah, like with Damian Harris out, they're essentially splitting the snaps that James Cook wasn't on there. So if that all goes to Latavius, we could see 12, 15 carries maybe, and he could fall into the end zone. I think this team's going to light up New England like they always do. So I think they're going to be in that red zone goal line a lot. And I can see Latavius. Like I wouldn't be shocked if he told me, "Oh, Latavius scored 2 touchdowns in the Bills won 45."
And then as someone who rosters a lot of James Cook myself, I'm just going to be there's going to be a head-shaped hole in my wall just off camera over here.
Yeah,
from all day Sunday. I actually maybe I'll do something productive on Sunday, like go to the library or something. I don't know. I gotta return some books. Like say hi to the homeless people. What? Who said that? That was inappropriate. All right. What about sit of the week? And this is also hard because of like the nature of it.
Yes, Jason put Ramondre against the Bills.
That is cheating at the highest order of cheating. Jason's doing a lot of cheating this week.
Yeah, where are they at?
And if you
Where's
think I
Ramondre
wouldn't
at?
be saying this directly to him, you don't know me very well.
Is it so? It's anyone inside the top 12? We're
Top 24.
Top 24. Okay.
He's cheating because it's Ramondre and he's been terrible. That's why I'm saying he's cheating.
Yeah, I actually don't agree with this. Like, I think Ramondre, and he's had a good week last week. The Bills aren't the Bills of old in terms of running backs. Like they're 12th best for starting against running backs. So they give up almost 21 points a game. So I don't actually agree with that. I think Ramondre is going to be fine. Like, that's what else do they have on this team? We talk about it like they need to
Kendrick
go
Bourne.
through. Yeah, I mean Kendrick Bourne and
all bad, every level
really
of bad.
Is. It really is. And Stevenson, for what it's worth, he's had he's played 6 games. 3 of them have been 15 or higher. Well, one was 14.9.
Yeah.
3 of them 15 or higher. So it's not like he's been atrocious. He's been top 21. Not what you drafted him to be, but
right.
So
I'll do mine real quick. Najee Harris, because I'm just gonna pile on to Najee, kick him in when he's down, get him right in the ribs. Najee Harris, firmly in a timeshare. I actually think I might prefer the other half of the timeshare. In a terrible matchup against the Rams, and so you might not have better options with 6 teams on a bye, but I am not expecting a lot from Najee Harris, and I will be pleasantly happy to be proven wrong. But that's the one that I look at that I'm like, I would be tempering my expectations. Kind of hoping that he scores. Otherwise, I don't know that he's going to do much for you without that touchdown.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to go James Cook. I
can't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, we were piling on him, and I guess I'm not too worried about the Patriots defense with all the injuries they have, but I don't know. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from James Cook and the usage there. So
we already covered it. You don't like the fact that he lost half his job to a 33-year-old guy who has been a fantasy zombie 3 different times and has barely been able to hold a job in the last 4 years?
Yeah.
Really? Getting outplayed by that guy? Oh, that's not a red flag at all. That's not a problem.
I know.
That'd be like getting outplayed by your dad, and that'd be like me getting dunked on by my 70-year-old father. I'd be proud of him. I'd also be really embarrassed about myself. Like, first of all, who knew that he could still sky over the boards like that? Like, he used to be able to dunk when I was a kid, but it was when he was my age.
Another one I'll throw out there is Alexander Madison against the 49ers. I know they're not quite as good as they were.
Kick him in the ribs.
They weren't quite as good as they were last year, but I'm just not really impressed. Like, Madison really needs volume, and this game could get out of hand potentially, and they go away from Madison, and so
I am not looking forward to that game whatsoever.
No.
Really hoping that Kittle can get something going because we got people out for the 49ers. That would really help me out in a personal matter that I need to deal with. That's just personal to me. That has nothing to do with anything other than that. That's just a very personal thing. I need George Kittle to have a decent game. Purdy or Watson, assuming Watson is playing before we go to wide receiver.
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
If you need a little more safety, I'd go Purdy, but I don't know. I still think Watson is a good player. The shoulder injury is makes me nervous. I'm going to go Purdy just to be safe.
I'm going Purdy and forget the Watson component of it. They're playing the Vikings terrible defense that can't stop anyone. Couldn't even stop the Bears properly.
Yep.
I'm just going to put Purdy out there, even with no McCaffrey, even with probably no Debo. They already had that problem earlier this year, and it didn't matter. So I just have zero confidence that the Vikings will be able to stop anyone at all. So Purdy for me. And then, I mean, maybe. It's starting to look that way. I have been working here, and I have not been paying attention to this game at all. What is Ridley at these days right now?
He's at a goose egg. Doesn't have a target. Doesn't make sense.
Does Etienne have 2 touchdowns?
He might.
He does. Oh my goodness.
It's just.
This game is already out of control.
Yeah.
Ew. I'm glad I'm not watching this. I've never been happier to be working. Lawrence is 8
Yeah.
for 11 for 96 yards. That is brutal.
I
Well, we were right
don't.
about that. He's 8 for 11 for 96 yards. He's got 2 carries for 35, so that's not terrible. But the rest of it is like all Etienne. 30. He's only got 30 yards, but 2 touchdowns. You'll take it.
Yeah.
And no receiver has done jack. Kirk 3 for 34.
I mean, that's great compared to what Ridley's giving.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
should have.
yeah.
I wish I would have trusted. Like, obviously, play in multiple leagues, but the one league I want to win the most, I took Ridley just because I wanted to diversify a little bit. Didn't have him. I knew I should have just trusted myself. Like, and we talked about it. Probably go back in the 32 for 30. Like, why are people sleeping on Christian Kirk type of thing? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's frustrating.
Boy, the Saints are
Frustrating.
playing like
But
garbage.
I don't think you should regret playing Ridley over Josh Palmer. Like, I really don't.
No,
Like,
that's probably the correct decision in a
yeah,
vacuum. Results off to one side for a second. That's probably the right choice in a vacuum. But
yeah.
I'm more concerned about why the Saints look like death.
I
Ew.
don't know, man.
Why is Jamal Williams? Ew. Okay, I can't look at that anymore. It's like hurting my brain. I'll catch up on that later.
Hey, I'm starting
Uh,
him in a dynasty league that I'm kind of tanking in, so
all of that is horrible.
yeah,
Oh
it's bad.
crap! I probably didn't activate Williams in time. Well, we'll deal with that problem later. All right, let's go look at wide receivers. Yeah, let's keep the train moving. So start of the week at wide receiver. This is always hard because you got to go so deep.
And this is 36.
36.
Okay, well, Jason put Wandale.
Okay,
Which
I finally agree with Jason
Yeah,
on something. It took long enough.
yeah.
We
I
finally got
really,
there. Don't even
yeah,
need to explain the Wandale thing, do we?
no. That's a kind of a slam dunk in my opinion.
Target
So
monster, best
yeah,
player on their team, as long as he's healthy.
yep. I'm gonna go Josh Downs.
Damn it!
Another target monster.
I should have
Jumped
gone.
ahead of you. I was
I
gonna
should
let
have
you go.
gone. I should have just cut you off at the knee and gone. All
I
right,
was,
go ahead. You
yeah,
beat me. You beat me
I
fair
was
and
gonna
square.
let you go, but then I
No,
saw
you
that.
beat
I
me
was
fair
like,
and
no,
square. No, I cut you off at running back just to put you in an awkward spot. So you turnabout is fair play.
yeah. I mean, Josh Downs is it's kind of in the same boat with Wandale, just like a target PPR monster, like not monster, but hog of he should get 6, 7 catches, and not the greatest matchup, but I don't know if that's going to affect Josh Downs too much unless they're just sacking the hell out of Gardner Minshew there. But no, Josh Downs, I really like him with Minshew.
All right, and then for me, it's actually you're gonna have to like tamp down your vomit for this, but I've mentioned him a couple times. It's Kendrick Bourne, and it's because he had a great game last week. He's clearly taken over as the number one wide receiver just recently. And I know the Patriots suck, and this is you got 6 teams on a bye, guys. I hate to tell you, but like anybody who sees that level of volume is going to get started. And I know he's playing Buffalo. That's actually not as bad of a matchup as you might think it is.
Not now. Not when they got decimated in London.
Yeah, and they're going to have to throw. The Patriots are in this game because they're going to get crapped on really aggressively. As you've already mentioned a couple times, the Bills seem to love to do it to them,
Yeah.
and they actually seem to like take joy in it. Like they seem to really enjoy it. Probably from all the years the Patriots crapped on them. So
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. So they're gonna they're literally gonna try to run up the score on you. So the Patriots are gonna have to throw the ball. They're gonna have to figure out something. Hunter Henry is questionable. I'm not even convinced he's playing. So that opens up those targets for 1 week. It's Bourne, and it's not going to be sexy, but I'm literally looking at Kendrick Bourne as a flex this week. He's a
I like
legit
it.
flex.
Yeah. He has 2 games this year where he's basically been out there on every play, and he has 22 targets combined in those 2 games.
They're ugly Mac Jones targets. They're scratched and dented. They're definitely off the scratch and dent pile of targets. They're not Jalen Hurts targets. You know what I mean? But they're targets. They do mean something. So no, I'm very much in on Kendrick Bourne for that. And then who do we want to sit? This is always an adventure as well.
Yeah, so Jordan Addison for Jason there against the
Coward.
49ers.
Coward.
Yeah.
Coward. Won't put his money where his mouth is on his Addison love.
He says the true number 1 is KJ Osborne.
Coward.
And primetime Kirk, if you buy into, I don't really buy into it, but
coward.
yeah.
I gotta message him on Discord and call him a coward. Hang on, keep going. I gotta message Jason and call him a coward here in front of everyone. You go ahead
No,
and you keep doing the show. I gotta.
that was fine. What is it top 24 or top 12 for top
It's
24?
24.
24. Okay. But yeah, he went Addison. If I'm gonna have to
It's actually
choose someone,
more. It's actually more than 24, but
yeah.
it's actually 36. It's the way the game works. It's top 3 starting wide receivers, so it opens up a bit.
I want to say Ridley just because I'm upset he has a goose egg, but I know I can't.
Not allowed. Not allowed, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, this one is tough. This one just kind of like
It
scanning.
gets real tough, real fast with this little
Yeah,
part of the
just
game.
sticking with the top 24. I'm not going to give anyone outside the top 24. I'm going to say Michael Pittman just because of this terrible matchup against Cleveland.
Well, you're fired. So congratulations. There's your box.
I love Pittman. I remember we talked about it. Like, why is Pittman
I am a
falling?
known Pittman apologist, so it's
No, I'm there with you. Like, and again, we talked in. I think it might have been the Colts or the whole recap, or just like,
it was
why
one
is
of those.
this guy's going to get 120 targets? And
I vaguely recall this. You were the one I was talking to this about, where I'm like, he was wide receiver 21 with
yeah,
terrible quarterback play.
yeah,
Then he was
yeah,
wide receiver 22 with
yeah.
terrible quarterback play. So this year we're going to rate him as in the initial rankings as wide receiver 30 something. What am I missing?
Yeah.
Like what is happening here?
And they didn't add, they added like Josh Downs, who's a nice
Which
player.
is nice. I like Josh
Yeah.
Downs, but that's not really a threat to him.
Yeah, but it's more on the matchup. That I really do believe in that Cleveland defense and just their ability to, they play man a lot, and that could just really not benefit Michael Pittman. So don't love it, but because I like Pittman, but it's tough. It's tough this week. So
I'm gonna go even higher up. It's Devonta Smith.
yeah,
Questionable all week, been a total crapshoot all year, playing in a game that I'm not even convinced he's going to play in. If he does, he's going to be limited. Don't love it.
Yeah.
Do not love. Devonta Smith also very near the top of players I'm trying to trade away at the deadline. Because now that we are officially, this week, by the way, we're going to start doing this more next week, but this week is the halfway point of the fantasy regular season in just about every single format or league you're going to play in. So once we get through the end of this week, you have effectively, depending on your league and when it actually is, and obviously there's some variance here, you got about 3 weeks before the trade deadline hits in your league. It is time to start making critical evaluative choices.
Yeah.
If you're a bad team and you play in a keeper or a dynasty league, it's time to start being honest with yourself about what you need to do. And you might need to start shipping away stuff for draft picks or for future prospects. If you're a good team in a dynasty or a keeper league, now is the time to start bolstering your roster and thinking about who you want to be when you grow up and get your team ready for the playoffs. Player values are going to start to change. Some of these guys that we've been talking about that are prospects for the future, they're not as attractive anymore. You start trying to trade people their handcuff for something nice off their team. You got to start figuring this out, and you got about 3 weeks. So it's going to get real busy in the trade channel, I think, busier than normal because people are going to start flipping their rosters around. So just bear in mind that that's going to happen. And so things that are near the top of my list to try and trade away, if I could, Cook, Smith, do not want. I don't want to deal with the headaches.
No, it's fair.
And you're getting name recognition still off those guys. So you can still trade them. You're not going to get what you paid in ADP. So don't come to me, Neil. No one will give me Devontae Adams for Devonta Smith. I know, baby. I know. It's okay. No one's going to do that. Even if you stapled those two players together, they might not do it. But I know no one's going to give you like full rot. Doesn't matter at that point. You spent that nickel 8 weeks ago. Okay. Like that money's already in the vending machine. You ain't getting it back, man.
Yeah.
So you just got to kind of like move on at that point. But I get that a lot from people where it's like, why am I selling at a loss? And I'm like, okay, I know it feels bad, but if you're trying to go to the playoffs, like I'm not trying to just give stuff away for free. But what is some of this stuff going to do for you? Cook ain't doing nothing the way that he needs to for me to feel good about that. So this is where I start looking at like, all right, let me take like Cook and a depth piece off my team to try to get something else I can actually use.
Yep.
Same thing with Smith.
Yeah. And there's value in being the first team to decide if you're talking about dynasty to rebuild, like because
Yeah.
then you have the whole league as your market. The market's big,
There's
but
also value to waiting until the trade deadline
mm-hmm,
for things, because what happens is you can start, and I do this a lot, by the way. This is out of my personal playbook. I am notorious for this crap. And a lot of people who play with me in a lot of leagues know what I do. I will wait until the trade deadline. And then what happens is, oh, okay, what other offers do you have? Oh, none? Oh, you want
yeah,
something or nothing? And in Dynasty, that doesn't work as well. But in redraft, especially in keeper leagues, oh, it works great. It also works in Dynasty as well, but it's a little harder of a sell in Dynasty. But that little move, I have pulled off so many last minute deadline moves because you want to get something done and you're just waiting, and it's still there on their team. And especially in like keeper leagues where it's like, oh, what were your other choices? Oh, I'm sorry, did you have other choices? What are the other offers you have? And then they usually come back, well, I don't have any other offers. Oh, okay. TikTok, you got to make a decision now or not. Were you keeping that guy for next year? No, I was keeping these guys. I know. So do you want a draft pick or do you want nothing? And that it very rarely fails.
yeah,
Very rarely fails. It's an ironclad argument when you think about it. Like, what were your other choices? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, did you have better options? Oh, you didn't. Oh, okay. Well, what about this? Oh, okay. Yeah, done. I've done that a lot. People love it, Mike. They love it. They absolutely love it.
yeah,
They get so frustrated with me in the back. It frustrates the crap out of people, but it works. It's very effective. No one's going to be nice to you over it, but it's a very effective little strategy in the background here. All right,
yeah.
so we
Like
did
it.
wide receiver start and sit. So we're going to do tight end here, and then Mike, I promised you I'd get you out of here at a reasonable time, and we're right on schedule for that. So
Yep.
we're going to do tight end start. Go for it.
So Jason has Trey McBride chasing points against the Seahawks. He outsnapped a healthy Zach Ertz for the first time, and yeah, maybe this team's realizing they need to move on to a younger guy. I could trade Zach Ertz. I don't know what the market is for Zach Ertz, but
Not great. Oh wait, real football or fantasy?
real football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Real football, sure. Fantasy,
No. Real football. I'm saying the Cardinals could trade.
real football, maybe.
Yeah.
Real football, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me, I'm gonna go with Gerald Everett against the Chiefs.
Ew.
Chargers against the Chiefs. Just
Grody.
I think I think their last like 4 or 5 games have
It's
averaged.
nice
like
working with you though,
50.
because I don't have to hear about Donald Parham. I don't
Yeah,
have to
right.
hear about it. I don't have to think about it. It's
Um,
nice working with you. Like I don't want to hear about Donald Parham.
yeah, but I think the average of score of these games is like 51 points. So, um, could be a shootout. Could catch a touchdown like he did last week. So I'll take Everett.
All right. So for me, I'm going deep cut, baby. Michael Mayer against the horrible Bears. The Bears suck. There's not a lot of hashtag analysis. The Bears suck. No, for real. Michael Mayer's snap percentage and routes run and target percentage have all gone up over the last couple weeks, particularly last week. They are trying to get him more involved. He is learning the offense. He's a rookie. This is when, if they're going to start to learn in their first year, this is when you start to see it typically.
Yeah.
Michael Mayer's starting to come on. And also, this is also pretty anecdotal. He's a big boy.
Oh yeah, he looks.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
looked
notice it
good.
so much.
Yeah.
When he was at Notre Dame, I didn't really pay attention to it because it's college.
Yeah.
You have guys like that in college. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have a huge guy. And then I didn't really think about it too much in the combine because he's just running around in his underwear.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, when you see him in pads on an NFL field, it does still stand out. Like he's a big boy.
Yeah.
I was joking with Lance on Tuesday. I'm like, you think his parents saved money when he left to go to college just because they didn't have to feed him anymore?
Yeah. Seriously.
Like they probably saved hundreds of dollars a week just not feeding that boy. He's a big boy. That boy looks like he can eat.
Yeah, and they desperately need a third option on that team. So, I like that pick for sure.
And then sit.
Sits for Jason. He put Luke Musgrave against the
Sure.
Broncos.
Sure. Why not?
The return of Watson, Dobbs. Maybe just a little bit too many mouths to feed is basically what he's saying there. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Didn't even. I guess it's the matchup, right? Like, I would not think he would be ranked in the top 12. Like, he's nowhere. Hey, he's a good player, but he's not. I guess it's the bye weeks too. You
Sorry,
know.
I was listening, but I also just noticed something. Alvin Kamara has 7 catches for 60
Oh my
yards.
god.
Holy crap!
What's that? 30 in 3
Oh
games or whatever he
my
has.
god, that's insane!
Jeez.
Oh, the Chris
Jeez.
Olave people are livid.
Uh,
I can hear if you just open your window, you can hear the Chris Olave people screaming. Chris Olave 2 for 17, by the way.
when
Like
did
you don't even have to you can just open your window and you'll hear it from out of other people's houses. That's
when
stupid.
when did Carr become this check down king? Like,
That
I
is
mean,
dumb. We're at the 2-minute warning. That's insane.
yeah. I mean, he's about to pass up his 13 catch first game
He's
back.
got 13 points in the first half, and it's all on little crappy dump offs. Well, what are
Yeah.
you gonna do? No, that's jeez, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for all the Chris Olave people because that's
Seriously.
ridiculous. Like that just. I knew he was going to be involved catching passes. He always is, but I never thought it would be that one-sided. I'm sorry, I completely derailed the show. That's you were doing tight end sit.
Yeah. So Jason was Luke Musgrave. I'm tempted to just say Cole Kmet because they're starting a rookie quarterback. So I'm gonna go Cole Kmet. I would not. I know it's a
Sure.
good matchup, but rookie quarterback.
You know how little I care about this because it's not Travis Kelce.
Yep.
You know
Yeah.
my opinion on this is that
Yep.
I could pick any name off this list except for Travis Kelce and probably be right.
Yeah.
Uh, and so for me, uh, Kyle Pitts, kick him while he's
Yeah.
down. Got him.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah. He was my other choice, like just
Yeah,
because it's.
they're throwing to him more. It's fine, but he's still sharing a job with Jonnu. I don't like their offense in general. It's actually a bad matchup against
Mhm.
Tampa Bay. Division games often get weird. I don't like any part of this. I'm sorry, Jose. I'm sorry to everybody who's playing against Kamara. That is a bitter, bitter pill because it's only halftime. In fact, it's not even halftime.
Oh yeah, you can get a touchdown
There's
right now.
2 minutes to go still, and
And
he's already at 13. He's on pace for like 25. Gross. I feel like I need a shower more
it's
so than I
insane.
already. That is ridiculous. There's another word that I want to say for that, but I'm not allowed to because it's PG-13 show. That is. I have many superlatives for that. Most of them are 4-letter words that go in front of other 4-letter words that I'm not allowed to say here.
Alvin
We'll do.
Kamara is on pace for in 2.5 games. He has 23 catches. He's on pace for 156 catches on the year. I mean, obviously he's not going to play 17, but
No,
in
it
a
doesn't
17
matter.
game,
It doesn't matter. Like
it's insane.
it doesn't matter. Like
Oh my
what's
god.
the second place?
Ugh.
What would even be second place to that?
Well, I think Eckler set the record last year with like 110 or something like that.
Right, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he's on pace for like 40 more catches. That's
Oh my
stupid.
god.
That's not A, it's not sustainable. B, it's idiotic. C,
Yeah.
I just want to okay, we did all the tight end start sets. We're done with that. All right, we got 2 last housekeeping notes we got to do, and then I'm gonna get Mike out of here, and then we're gonna be done for the day here because we're coming up on the 2-minute warning. Quick question from Chuck: full PPR, Palmer or Flowers? That's a good one. That's a real question. That's like a
Yeah. That's
real
good.
rail splitter there.
I can probably pencil in Flowers for more production.
Flowers is my choice, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flowers has the better matchup.
Hmm.
And Flowers also is getting, generally speaking, comparable work to
Yeah.
Palmer. So the matchup does actually matter in that case.
Yeah. No, I'm going Flowers.
Also, I do believe that the other reason to go with Flowers, Detroit is going to move the ball.
Yeah.
So they're not just going to be able to pin their ears back and run like Baltimore likes to do. And then last thing from KM. One last thing from KM.
Oh man.
LA, I knew we were going to get here eventually. I can't believe this didn't come up sooner, but since we're
Yeah.
here, we might as well do it. Have Williams, didn't get Evans. That's actually probably a good thing. Because you already listed the other reasons why. So you already know what the issue is. It's that they now are going to be car washing Evans, Freeman, Henderson, and Gaskin. So to answer your question, do I think any of them is worth taking a flyer on? Not for this week. I want to see who emerges as the if there is a winner, and then we have this conversation next Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. If you're talking about starting, definitely not. If you're talking about throwing someone on your bench, definitely like throw one of them. Henderson. Yeah, I think Henderson. Like he's been in the system before. Like it could be a Amari DiMercado situation where everyone goes in on this guy, and then it's Keontae Ingram and freaking Damian Williams.
I'm not bitter about that at all, by the way.
I'm not either, but it's
I'm
just like
not bitter about that in any way.
I didn't even realize
I'm
Damian
not
Williams
still
was.
mad about it and probably won't still be mad about it for the next 2 weeks. Like I'm
Yeah.
not a bitter person who holds grudges against organizations or
No, but
individuals or anything.
yeah. So if you're talking about throwing one of these guys on your bench, 100%, because any of them could be the number one guy. Like, so I would throw, and I think I would go with Henderson to be
You had to
honest.
bring up my poor little friend Mario DiMercario.
Yeah, I didn't buy in. So he did play the most snaps. There's
So
that.
angry. I'm so angry at the Cardinals for that because I get it. I do. Rookie TCU had half a good game. You don't want to buy in too far. And I
Yeah.
didn't play him, by the way. I just picked him up and stashed him. I didn't play him in any league. But Keontae Ingram sucks. Why are we playing Keontae Ingram? He's been bad his whole career, and he was bad last week. And why do we keep doing this? Like, I'm seriously asking, what is it they see in Keontae Ingram? Because I watch him play, and I'm like, this dude is not good. He looks like worse. He looks like AJ Dillon's worst brother. Like it's like he looks worse than AJ Dillon, and I'm like, AJ Dillon isn't good either. Why are we upset? We these organizations and these guys. He's just a plotter. He's just
Yeah.
a ham and egger. Like he's not explosive or talented. Like, can you help me? You work for PFF. You might know something I don't. Like, what am I missing? Like,
Only, only thing I can think of is like they had their role for Amari DiMercado and said, "This is your role, and you're never going to be out of this role this year at least." And we're just going to bring up someone to you stay in this role, and bring up someone else, and
if that's actually true, and that was ever, I know that that's reckless speculation on your part, but if that
yeah,
was ever actually proven true to me, I would never forgive the Arizona Cardinals, and I would
yeah,
never in fantasy roster any of their players. Like I would just be done. They'd be like they'd be dead to me if that was the way they ran that organization because that is the most short-sighted, stupid way to think. Like if that actually was true,
yeah,
I would be so inconsolably upset that I would literally not. It's not that I wouldn't roster any of their players. I would downgrade them all to the point that I would never draft them and just let
yeah.
everybody else deal with it. Like that would be in just. Oh, I hope that's
Uh,
not true.
yeah, I mean, also Keontae was hurt, so like
Neck
in
injury.
that game, in that game, we all just assumed it was DiMercado, and we, it could have just been that it could have all gone to Keontae if he was healthy
I
that game
understand.
when he
I
got
understand.
hurt.
It's just
So
I felt like he did enough when he was averaging, 4.5 yards a carry and scored,
mhm.
and then also got 3 targets. I'm like, that's enough. That should be enough for him to on a team, by the way, that isn't going to win anything
Yeah,
ever. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just answered my own question. They know Keontae Ingram is bad, but that's the point. Maybe
yeah,
I just answered my own question. That could be the real reason. Maybe now we're on to something here and we'll never know, by the way. This is all reckless speculation and none of it's based in fact. All right, so we did it. Mike, you and I agree. I don't want to roster any of these guys if I can avoid it, right? Just
yeah. But
avoid,
if you
avoid, avoid.
if you do have a bench spot, throw him one on there and take your chance. But
You'll know more next week.
yeah,
If you want my opinion, I think the most likely people to quote unquote win are Gaskin. I'll do it in order this way: Evans, Gaskin, Henderson. And I'll
yeah,
give you my reason. Evans, because he's been there for the year so far and he has the inside track on it. Gaskin, because he's the best player of any of those guys, just on balance. And then Henderson, because he's familiar with the system
yep.
and the coaching staff. And I've seen Royce Freeman fail enough times that I have zero confidence that that will ever not be that. in the background.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're being thanked for our time. I appreciate the thank yous. We're going to head on out of here. We're done. Enjoy the second half of the football game
Yeah.
that's happening in the background. I'm sorry if you're playing against Alvin Kamara. I'm happy for you if you are playing Alvin Kamara. I'm also sorry for you if you're playing Calvin Ridley. I'm also sorry for you if you're actually sitting there watching that game.
Right.
And Mike, final thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, public outcries, and where can the people find you on your way out the door here?
No, hop in the Discord. There's a lot of action going on in there, and
Attaboy.
yeah, I enjoy it. Get to your trade questions. There's been a lot this year, a lot more than last year. So get to them at some point, and yeah, we'll help you. Like Neil said, like you gotta start making the choice on your team, right? Making decisions and making moves. Like at least die trying, right? I always say that.
That's
Like
right.
I always tell people that are in last place of my leagues, like, hey, you're already in last place. Make this trade and give yourself a chance. You know, like that's part of my strategy. And
I have a
go out
different way I
fighting.
phrase that, which is don't go out like no. And you know what the last word is. Like, even if
Yeah.
I'm going to lose, I'm not going down like no punk. Like, we fight until the last around here. That's how I tend to roll. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, come keep Mike company in the Discord. He's very lonely. He needs people to talk to and answer their myriad of trade questions, which I appreciate you doing, especially since I used to run that channel by myself. And this year, with me running 3 shows plus trying to herd the cats that need to get herded for the other shows that I don't run, I just do not have time to be in that channel the way that I used to. So I really appreciate you stepping up and taking the lead on that and really trying to help those guys because there's a lot of questions in there and it's not going to slow down for the next couple of weeks. But I will say
No.
it does tend to slow down once we get through like week 11, 12 when the trade deadline passes. It does dip off a bit. It never totally stops because some leagues allow people to go all the way till,
Mm.
where I don't agree with that, by the way. I think you should have some kind of trade deadline in your league because otherwise the playoffs get corrupted with
Yeah, a little
bad
bit.
behavior. So you got to have a trade deadline. But in the background, Mike, I really appreciate you doing that. And yeah, sign up for our Discord. Keep Mike company. Ask us questions. And then yeah, Danny, your videos are on your way to you tomorrow. We'll get that done tomorrow afternoon. I actually have the day off work for a change for the first time ever. Feels like. So I'm going to be working on that tomorrow with a couple other people. And then we will take care of that. Get those over to you. If anybody else wants roster resolution videos, check out our website. $5. If you have questions on how to get there, add us on the Discord. Hit us up on Twitter. Ask us here on Sunday. It's Thursday. It's easy. I'll post the link for the code. You just buy the code. That funnels over to Steve. He'll ask you some questions. We'll collect some info, and then we'll sit down and do the video. Bear with us. It takes a couple days. There is a waiting list. I did not anticipate the level of popularity that roster resolution would have. And you can thank Mike Berlin for that because that was his idea, and I know he stole it from somewhere else, but I don't know where he stole it from, so he gets credit for it.
Hey, don't reinvent the wheel. You know.
Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But anyway, enjoy the rest of the game. Tune in tomorrow for Locked In with Mason and Vishal as always. I will see you in the chat on Sunday, and then Mike, enjoy your weekend, buddy. If I don't talk to you again, and tune in on Monday for the waiver show with Jason and Mike. And until then, keep up the nonsense.